Okay, I think we're live. I think we're live. We're
Okay.
live. Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Quantum Show, Quantum Panel. And guess what? Lynn Ann is in the panel from the immediately. And Lynn, please tell us what you just told me.
Boy, I'm still startled. We were talking back and forth, and business as usual. And you said, "Listen, I gotta get a coffee," and you got up and went to get a coffee. So I'm sitting here minding my own business, just doing my thing, and I saw somebody walk in front of the camera and sort of wave, just a little, "Hey, how are you?" It's like a shadow would look with light behind it, so I didn't see details. And I'm
Hmm.
like, oh, he has somebody there in the room. I didn't think anything of it. Now you can tell your side of it.
Yep, I didn't have any, there is no one in the room physically with me. Though I just got finished talking about how this whole place is haunted.
Yeah.
Proof. I wish it was recorded. Ah!
Oh, yeah, it does this to you every time. This isn't right. I mean, I was sitting
We
here
were
thinking, oh my gosh,
backstage.
it's there on the camera.
I know it was backstage and it didn't record. I didn't have a stream or nothing going.
You know,
This is why.
I
This is, huh?
I see things all the time here, of course, and
Hmm.
it and I kind of tuned to seeing them, but I didn't expect to see one go strolling through your bedroom, and there's nobody else there at
Man.
home. Nobody
Got
could have
Dorothy.
possibly got not there at home.
No, no.
Uh, Hi,
And
that's not Dorothy. That looks like Shadow.
that's
Hi,
Shadow.
Shadow.
Oh, Dorothy, I
It's
need to send
it's
you
an
a
illusion.
link. Hey, Shadow.
Howdy, folks. How you guys doing tonight?
We're ecstatic.
Okay. What I miss? So
Tell
you
us.
guys have
Oh,
only been on 3 minutes.
if you had been here just 5 minutes ago, you'd have seen one of Nathan's ghosts walk across the front of his room. It
Okay.
stopped
Okay.
and it waved at me and kept on going, and I'm like,
What did
oh,
what did this?
a ghost.
Oh, and was it? Were
Local
you
ghost.
live? Were you live?
No,
No.
Oh, you guys.
we hadn't gone live yet. And he had just gone to get a coffee, and I'm sitting here minding my business. And I know, unusual for me, but hey.
Hey,
Anyhow,
Dorothy. Hey, a nerd's nerd.
Dorothy, I'm
Missed
getting
you
you a
tonight
link
on my
in
show.
Twitter.
he went to get a coffee, comes back. I said, oh, who's with you? He goes, what? And I thought it was somebody. So it was some
Hey, Diane.
unbody.
Well, you've seen my
Yeah,
ghost. Me and Raven saw your ghost, both backstage
yeah,
offline.
yeah.
I don't.
Remember that?
Yeah, I
Remember?
do. Yeah, it
Your
was right
little
after
dog
my
jumped up right
puppy
here.
passed. Yeah,
I you
she
know
had
I
left.
was actually waiting in the back room. Just watching the ticker.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I got done with my show and I noticed that you were running a little late, and I'm like, awesome, I'll be there just in time. And
Rats. I
I
wish
was
you'd have
late.
been here. You'd have just crapped. I know I did.
next time, Nerd's Nerd,
Dorothy, your
you're,
link
you're
is
more than
in
welcome to come.
Twitter.
Just a little
Yeah,
fast
just
shadow.
happened.
I mean, just poof. It kind of just waved, and it went through so fast I could barely see it. I thought, oh,
Yeah,
he's
she
got
said it
somebody
came
in
from
there.
the door. Came from the door going this way. The door is
Right.
on this side. The room with no door is over here. So there's nobody. Well, I guess there's somebody here now. I got no
Well,
physical
They
human
were just
here.
passing through. I don't know.
you put out a call to all the local ghosts. What do you expect?
Seriously.
Yeah. What should I expect? Hey,
You know, we were just doing a show on vampires. Better be careful, man. You throw those open invites out. You know, next thing you know, I'm going to be at your door.
We're talking about vampires nasty
on
here.
the quantum.
I got a bad burn today.
On the quantum show. Oh, you did?
Well, this week.
You got a bad burn?
I got a bad burn. And I was just out just a short time. And well, picture bacon frying. That's about how I get burned. And ended up having to go see my dermatologist and ask for help because this was going deep and hard. It's like, oh, you know. And Joe has seen me suddenly burn.
You are a weirdo.
Well, I'm so fair.
Licking a pillow.
I what?
My dog is sitting next to me out here licking a pillow. He's being a weirdo.
I could think of so much.
Okay.
I'm not saying nothing.
There are ghost children in the room.
Holy cow. Well, you saw
I just got it put in my head. I can't hear. I can't hear. And I'm like,
take care, Jessica.
And it was it was on that frequency right there. I'm sorry you can't hear. I got to use these headphones or it'll mess up my sound. I can't, I'm not making.
You just
kind of I can't.
For a second.
Did I freeze?
Just for a second. You back now?
A little glitchy.
Okay.
But what show isn't, right?
Well, a little glitchy is to be expected. Yeah, it's just
glitchy, wishy, whatever.
Hey, Nathan, what's on your shirt tonight?
Say again.
What's on your shirt tonight?
What's on
Nathan?
my shirt tonight? Quark's Bar from Deep Space Nine.
Cool.
Gotcha. All I could see was the top yellow
Star
part,
Trek.
and I'm like,
I gotta show you this. This is on my shirt for Raven.
That's cool.
It says, I'm fine. It's fine. It's all fine. I thought she'd get a charge out of that.
I'm going to try something here. I got that message in my head. I can't hear. So I'm going to lend one of my head. It's crazy. Here comes Dorothy.
To the show, Dorothy.
I'm going to lend.
Hi there.
Dorothy has a story. Cool. Hey, Dorothy.
Hi there.
Hi, Dorothy.
I'm going to lend one of my headphones to whoever wants to listen, and they can figure out with their ghostly self. I can still hear you.
Picture with the head on the table.
Right.
I see Nathan is glitching a little bit to me, and I don't know if that's my connection or what's going on.
It's probably mine.
Well, I don't think so. It's not doing it here recently.
I'm going to blame on that gremlin that's sitting behind him.
Anybody else
see that? You see that
everybody else seems good, but Nathan's glitching all over the place. Nathan, I think your friendly spirit is not so happy with you somehow.
He got caught.
Well, I gave him a headphone to listen to, so hopefully he'll be okay. I hope you can hear. Okay.
Don't
I've
know
only
if
got
you
one set of
heard that,
headphones, and if I
Dorothy,
take it
but
out, it'll.
I did hear that just
that
now.
is terrific.
That's
Every
That
bizarre.
was Shadow.
Yeah, that was a racetrack behind my
Oh,
house.
That was. No, I
Nothing to
was
see here.
saying his little buddy came walking through and waved hello.
That's wild. I was busy getting my coffee, making sure that I was hanging with the favorite ghost
That's what I was
behind the
doing.
eyeballs of this one. Yeah. So anyway, okay, so my local ghost story involved me, my sister, and a bunch of our friends when we were in school. All of the art farts always went to parties together because we were always, like seeing each other where we had performance spaces and so forth and so on. And so we went to this one Halloween party, and it was a whole coalition of all different folks, right? Musicians, artists, dancers, actors, writers, local performers from the orchestra, from the jazz scene, you name it, everybody hung together. So we went to this Halloween party, and it looks as though I'm the only one on the screen now. Okay, so we went to this Halloween
You're
party at
still.
this
We're listening.
Okay, we went to this Halloween party together, and it was like our ritual. We would all hang out together on Halloween and go to parties together, right? So it was all kinds of fun until we got to this one place, and we all had friends in various groups, so we kind of split up for an hour, and then we were going to meet outside. And when we met outside, every single one of us felt, it said something like, did you feel what was going on in there? It wasn't any of our friends that were like being mean or anything. They were all having a good time. We were all chit-chatting with our own musicians or artists or dance people or whoever we saw. And when we met up outside, it was like, did you feel that? And it was like we all felt like we were all being pushed out of that place by some malevolent kind of a spirit thing going on, and we all felt like we were being pushed to get out of there. I don't know if it was a warning spirit for each of us because we were all rather light and sunshiny, just kids having fun on Halloween, and so it was a warning spirit to get out of there to each of us individually, or if it was a malevolent spirit that was inhabiting that space that didn't like our little light and fluffy happy-go-lucky students on a whim having fun on Halloween because they were all dead serious about whatever. So I don't know what that was, but it hit all of us separately, and we all recognized it together when we were back together outside. Just a very strange thing to have happen around this time. But as Nathan said, the veil's very thin, and so it would make sense that something like that would happen around this time of the year.
Sure. So what's your favorite ghost story, Shadow?
Honestly, I don't have one yet. I'm just collecting stories right now.
I
have one. I have one that I told before. When I was working with the forestry department, I was 17, and I worked with the volunteers during the daytime. Two older gentlemen, and we drive around the woods, fixing things and doing odd jobs and what have you, things that nobody else would do in the off season. And one night, I went back to camp, and I was in my bunk, and I shared a room with four of the guys, and then there was a room right outside there, the common room, and right off to the side was where the supervisor hung out. And he was there, after we'd all gone to bed. He was doing paperwork or something like that. And someone walked into the common room and looked into the room and said, good night, Shadow. And I okay, made no big deal about it. Next day, I go to the meet point where I meet the truck, and only one of the guys showed up. And I got in the truck. Where's, where's I think his name was Rick, but I could be wrong. It's been 40 years. And he said he passed away last night, and I'm like, yeah, I know. And that's it. Everybody I know, says that was him. Coming to say goodnight. Say goodbye, I should say, because they were volunteers. They didn't have a lot of young friends, or they were up there in years, so a lot of their friends and family had already passed away and stuff. And we always had a really good time. But I guess Rick had come in and said adios.
It happens that way sometimes. The odd thing, but we think one of the ghost stories I know, the house of Loretto in Las Cruces, was one of the original settlers in this area, and their compound was about 2 blocks long on Lowman Street. Now, at that time, there was nothing around them, nothing at all. Well, along comes me around 1999, 2000, and a young lady had established a store, and in their what would have been their nuns' compound, okay? And this was a religious outpost. And we made acquaintanceship with her, and it was close to this time of year. Beautiful, exotic looking young girl. And we had a Halloween party. Okay, fine. The number of us were witchy folk. And there was a nun at the party. I thought that was interesting. And she's like, just, no, you can't do that here. And I didn't think anything of it. I mean, there was a lot of people there. And I mentioned to the lady that owned the shop, I said, now who is the girl that has the nun's outfit on? I said, she's quite in character. And she stared at me. She goes, there was no nun. Then she said, well, there might have been. This used to be the House of Loretto's nunnery. So that was kind of a cool thing.
Is someone typing?
I don't know. I'm not.
Sorry, don't mean to interrupt, but
type.
there's noise happening on the line right now. Is that you, Dorothy?
It was, but I've muted myself.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Okay, I was just like, whoa, is he back? Is he doing something?
No,
All good. All
what
good.
Joe is referring to with the ghost dog there in the chat, he hadn't known us very long, and he was sitting in the chair, and suddenly his hand flies up, and he starts looking around, and I said, what are you hunting for, Joe? He goes, where's the dog? And I'm like, dog? I don't have any dogs here. He goes, a black dog. He's got a big fluffy tail. And I'm like, that was my Jazz. And she had passed away just prior to that. Big black lab. And loved to be petted. Didn't matter by who, but she would get underneath the hand. That was her trick. And throw the hand up so that you'd pet her.
That's a good one. I like that. And you got a witch.
I've
It's
had
so cool that
several
you
of
got a
my
witness.
deceased pets come up and jump on my bed at night, Like when I'm feeling kind of like, one of my faves will come right up and I'll know instantly who it is. And I don't know why, but I do. It's like somehow I know the spirit of that animal. And that's kind of a weird thing for me, Nathan. I haven't ever tried to go towards, my witchiness, but I think I've recognized that there is witchiness in my family. I mean,
Oh,
my
yeah.
sisters and I, too psychic to be believed
No,
sometimes.
they have their own vibration. They do. And
Yeah.
their own way of
Yeah.
stepping and how they
Mhm.
approach things.
Yep.
So recognizing them in the dark is not really a surprise.
So my challenge in my life at this point is to overcome my programming, which tells me that reaching beyond anything that my priest at my local Catholic church told me was evil, bad, and I was bad for trying to learn it or anything about it.
I
So
was brought up the same way.
I'm still tossing off old programs. So yeah, thanks for the support group, guys. I appreciate that.
Hey, too easy. Because you know what? Something I have found that if you don't reach for it, it reaches for you. And you will, I mean, I said it in the
That
It
is
first
won't
the
be
hour.
truth.
denied.
100% truth, 100% truth.
It won't be
Yep, if you
denied.
don't reach for it, yeah, it's
It'll
there.
come along whether
And
you like it or not.
yeah, and you would have to medicate yourself into vegetation state to
Yeah.
not be aware of it. And then even then, it's just closing off a few frequencies, opening up a few more. You have to be basically on the other side to not be bothered by the other side.
And then you'll be bothered by the living.
And that's what
Right.
happened when my son passed away. I went to the other side because I started having all kinds of signals from all kinds of places, and they were way too obvious and way too often to be ignored. That's,
They do
I
that.
guess, what happened for me. Thank you, universe, and all the spirits helping me. Okay, great.
Well,
Hey,
a
don't
lot
feel
of
silly
times
about
when
it. It's real.
not at all. A lot of times when those on the other side will reach out to us in dreams, signs and signals, in life, maybe their favorite song is constantly coming on the radio.
Mhm.
Who's lurking around over there?
It's Haunting Joe
Hi, Joe.
or Haunting Joe.
Joe.
How's it going, Joe? Thanks for stopping by earlier.
Good to see you, Joe.
Oh, you're welcome.
I was just telling them about Jazz introducing herself to you.
Yeah, there I am sitting there, and then all of a sudden my hand raises.
Yeah.
Hey, Cindy.
She just settles underneath, He's yelling. He says, where is it? Where's the
There
dog?
was none.
What are you up to?
I was just showing Nathan how easy it is to show the full blockage you get when the lines are not parallel,
Yeah.
allowing certain frequencies through and not allowing others through. I think I'm gonna have to watch the
Right.
show on. It's easier
What's
to do
going
with
on?
combs though, because people can see through the combs easier.
Right. Well, there is a quantum, physical quantum element to all of it too. Really, because the frequencies that I was talking about with the flashlight method, not method, but example, is you can buy
That's
these
just
clocks.
distance.
It's called
That's
right.
just distance.
Well,
It's not actually
when
blocking
you,
frequencies. And that, therefore, I like the other ones better. But yeah, it was a nice example.
Okay, thank you. But yeah, that's the veil, my veil explanation. Because I hear people talk about the veil all the time, but nobody explains what the veil is. I don't even know really what it is, but I know reality has a frequency. All reality has frequency, and we have things like frequency sets.
Mhm.
Well,
Well, you know, there are so
You're
we
many.
have a
There's so many of the more color than we can see as human beings. Does that mean there's no color because we can't see it? No. It just means that frequency of color is something we don't pick up. And I think it's very like that in the spirit world.
it's not going to work, is it? Oh
You're on your head.
well. Nathan, are you familiar with interference pattern?
Yeah, that's one of my main talking points. Interference pattern is where you can detect something that is not detectable by using a frequency that you can not necessarily detect the thing, but the
Yeah,
interference that
but
it
they use
creates.
combs.
Okay.
Was my point. They use combs on the interference pattern to prove that we don't really live in this universe, because there's no way a particle is a particle but a wave at the same time.
Hmm.
And then when you observe it, it decides, I'm one thing or the other. You
And
put it
that
on.
just means we
Right.
haven't got that into our experience yet. That's all.
Couldn't it
Yeah,
just
well,
be couldn't it just be a matter of perspective? You know, if you see something from one angle, it has a certain shape, but if you look at it from another angle, it has another shape. And couldn't there be
okay.
angles that we can't actually move to?
That sounds really good, except here's what they've done. They put up the screens, they shoot the light through, and instead of getting the pattern they're expecting, which would have been 2 bars, they get a bunch of bars. Okay, that tends to say that that's a wave. But if you put a camera on this side of the screen and leave your camera over on the other side, you're not changing the other camera. It will pick one or the other. It'll either be a particle or a wave.
Mm-hmm.
That I'd like to
But
see
if
done. I
we,
should
but if we
do
were,
that myself.
There's lots of YouTube videos on it. Look at it.
I'm fully aware of that. But what if we were in, you know, how we live in, you know, the third dimension? What if we were on the fourth, fifth, sixth, or seventh, and there we could, from that perspective, we could understand it differently and actually understand it.
Yeah. Well, right now, from what it looks like, is that we, if we observe it too closely, then it changes what it is. That easy.
Hmm. Hmm.
Well, that would
And well,
imply intelligence, that it knows it's being watched and is then, you know, changing its spot, so to speak. What's up, Fritz?
And it does it. I mean,
So that's
it's
yeah.
very much
repeatable.
a quantum. That's very quantum in its. As long as you're not paying attention to it, it'll hold form. But the minute you look at it, it changes.
That implies it has some sort of intelligence, or it's
The
Mhm.
universe has some sort of intelligence.
well, clearly, or that
Consciousness.
it's being directed and notices it's being directed and thus changes it. Welcome to the show, Raven.
Hi. How's everybody?
Hey,
Hey,
it's
Raven.
Raven.
Hello. Good to see you, Raven. How are you? Hi.
Hi, Raven.
It always takes a few minutes for
Hi,
people to
already.
pop up on my screen.
Hello, GM Alcove, and want to say hi to all the people
Yep.
in the chat. Thank you for being here.
Yes.
I can't see them, but
Thank you for coming to the Quantum Show. Everybody, if you're here, you're Quantum, and this is going to be a good month. It's Ghost
Mhm.
Month.
Mhm.
All month. Raven, hi. How you doing?
Great. Good to see you, Nathan.
I
Great
have a
first hour.
ghost in the audience here.
Yeah, we had
We have
fun.
a ghost in the audience here. Yeah.
You would have a ghost in the audience? Is that what you said?
Right as I went to go get.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
went to go
that's
get
what I said.
coffee.
When I went to go get my cup of from walk in front of the camera, go and gone.
Yeah. He
Backstage,
waved
of course,
and
backstage.
waved.
And then I heard later,
Sort
a
of
little while
slid
later,
right through, and I'm
a
like,
little while
oh,
later in
he
my
has
head,
someone there.
I can't hear.
are both of you using the same microphone?
It sounds like they're
Nope.
trying to click in.
So it went in front of your camera?
Uh-huh.
I don't hear what you're saying.
Wow.
Well, and then
Same
Nathan
thing went in
heard,
front of my camera and
I
went,
can't hear.
hi. And poof.
Just slid
And then
through
And it
really
wasn't
fast.
physically heard. It was like the way Xena talks to me. It was put in my head.
Mhm.
Yeah, put in my head. I can't hear. Not spoken on the speakers.
Okay. Well,
Nathan, when you were in
Like it
El
was
Paso,
directly to me. Love this stuff.
I'm just grateful to see you're not glitching anymore. It kind of messes with me, you know, when I'm seeing you glitching on and off. So maybe your guests settled down, and now that they've got their own pair of headphones, you know, they're going to be good or whatever.
Nathan, when you were in El Paso, did you ever visit La Hacienda restaurant?
La Hacienda. I meant to, but I never had a chance to, unfortunately.
Yeah, that started off as a
The one
brothel.
that was on TV.
You're talking about McGolfin House,
Mm-hmm.
La Hacienda, L&J. All of those are haunted.
All of them. They've all been on TV.
Okay, well, La Hacienda, people have said that they'll be sitting there and they'll see somebody in very uppity Western clothing come in and sit down at their table with them.
wow.
Mm.
I have heard
Cool.
those things.
Oh, that would be so fun. Oh, I would love to.
There's a couple of good stories through here. You know, I'd been at the Double Eagle in Old Mesilla, which is very near here, and is a Old West saloon. Their bar is carved wood. It is original. The whole place is. And was sitting with a group of women and having a luncheon. Looked over at their ballroom and saw all these period costumes. I'm thinking, oh, that's neat. And I showed the lady with me, looked out there, and she goes, oh, that's interesting. And didn't pay any attention either. And asked the waitress, is there a reenactment tonight? And she goes, reenactment? No, there's nothing going on in there tonight. And a moment ago, it was bright. You could see in there. But I realized I hadn't heard anything. You know?
So do you think that you were seeing a past moment in present time then?
Probably. That happens. You know, I
Interesting.
can see past occurrences in front of my eyes at times. You know, what was weird was the other lady saw it too. You know,
That
that
is
doesn't
weird.
always happen when I see phenomena, but
Hmm.
she saw it as well.
How about the railroad station there in Las Cruces?
my my stepdaughter, I was taking her to work. She worked around the corner from where the old railroad station is, and I had lived down there before, very close to the tracks. But I was on my way back with her and uh, saw all these horses, and there was a locomotive at the railroad railway station. I'm like, well, look at that. It's a reenactment. You know, that's
Hmm.
first thing I think of. And there was people milling around. There was people picking up luggage and horses and the rest of it. Next moment, they were gone.
Hmm.
Now
Hmm.
she doesn't see. She never has. And I must have sat there for 5 minutes. She goes, "Well, the lights changed sometime, or it's your turn to go. There's no light down there." And I said, "You didn't see that, did you?" She goes, "See what?" Okay. You know.
Amazing. Well, this one house that I raised my son in from an infant turned out to be haunted by the spirit of a man who used to live there, and he hung himself there. He committed suicide there because he was gay, and it was the early 1900s, and I think something had happened where he was just shunned or something, and my son and I took up residence. It was an old Victorian house, 3 floors. It even had servant stairs. So at one time,
Mhm.
a very well-to-do family lived there. And it had a servant's quarters up on the 3rd floor with attic on 2 sides. But there was a bedroom and a little sitting area and a full bath. So my son and I took up residence up there in the attic. And one time I was giving my son a bath and I felt this presence there. And it, spoke like Nathan's talking about, not out loud, but inside, it came to me. I'm here. Don't worry. I just live here and I'll watch out over you. It was it became a protective spirit of the vulnerable and the weak after having, taken his own life due to being harassed and pursued and shunned and
Sure.
probably, uh, ostracized from his entire community of people. So it was an interesting set of variables growing up in that place, but I didn't even know. I always felt like something was there, but never knew about it until a couple of years later. The people that had lived there before us, we started a co-op after they left, but they were the ones who told us the story of the man who had hung himself after we had lived there for 2 years. They didn't want to freak us out as we were taking over the place because they didn't have any problems with whoever this was, but they knew about it. You know what I'm saying? It was
Mhm.
more like they wanted to kind of see if we were going to have problems with it. If we did, we'd probably ask them about it, but we never did. So
Yeah.
it was more or less one of those understood things until I heard about it. And then I went, oh, now it makes sense, because you
Mhm.
always, I mean, for me, because of the way I was always raised, oh, that you're just imagining things, blah, 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 whatever. And always dismissed and so forth. So this time of my life is very much a turning point in my life, one of those axis points where you make decisions that are different than the ones you made before. Definitely, it's different than it was in terms of me feeling like, oh, it's okay to study whatever I want to now. I don't have to be bound by what I was told when I was young. But I
Right.
think so many of us are trapped, and even through many lifetimes inside of that kind of brainwashing that we're conditioned into in our society.
Mm-hmm.
That's very true.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's funny, and I've noticed this with youngsters. It takes them about time they hit 31, 32 years old, and suddenly they're done taking it, you know, and they reach adulthood. That there's something about 31, 32 that changes the mind, and it hits again at 45 and again at 65.
You remember Mrs. Springer in Alpine, Texas? She
Yes.
had a very unusual ghost. She left out some dishware to be washed the next day. Her ghost got up and cleaned the house and did
Oh
the
my
dishes.
goodness. I want that ghost. Come live with me.
Everybody wants that ghost. It scared Mrs. Springer to death.
I'm ready. I am ready. I
have
promise
one,
I will not be scared.
I have one currently that's leaving the toilet seat up for reasons unknown.
He's a male.
Raven, the answer is really simple. He had to go.
He's a male.
Okay, there's one other option. There's one other possibility. The ghost is a dog, and it was thirsty.
Did he get the toilet seat up?
We
is what I
have a
wanna know.
rule. We have a very good rule around here. The guys get it going up and the girls get it going down. You know?
Well, about Chicka Wow Wow on the Quantum Show.
So
Not yet. Not yet.
No, it
So
hasn't
not
quite
touching that,
gone to
sorry.
that.
It got worse on Shadow's show.
it always does. It always does.
So did
Somehow
this
I knew
ghost
it
hang
would.
around, or did it just do it that one time, or what? What came of
You
it?
should be doing that, Nathan.
Oh, she moved out to a
Sorry.
shed in the backyard, and she would have nothing to do with the house.
My God.
Oh,
Oh wow!
I'd
Well.
take advantage of that in a hurry.
I mean, yeah, I would too. I would too, Lynn. Hell yeah, that'd be awesome.
I would
Why
be
can't I
living
get a
up
ghost
there.
that does that?
Yeah, I would too, but that wasn't what she chose to do.
All mine does is leave the toilet seat up. Jeez,
Well,
not fair.
I think one of the big things with ghosting that one should remember is this was a human being at some
Yeah.
point, you know, and for whatever reason they're stuck on this plane or choose to be here. You know, I
Mhm.
have trouble thinking that they're forced to be on this side, but you know, there are those who are scared to death to go to the other side because, oh, well, look at all the stuff that we tell them about the other side. And if they do something that may not be exactly Hoyle, why,
Right.
you
And,
know, it's going to be pitchforks and burning for them.
Well, maybe
Yeah.
some of them. That's exactly what's going to happen. We always tend to assume that they're innocent. I would think that if they knew in their heart they were going one place over the other, they would be more than happy to go. So it stands to reason that they would, have a guilty conscience for a reason.
Well, and we assume that we know their reasons. Sometimes they hang because they don't want to leave a loved one behind, or they worry for someone else.
or they died suddenly and they don't know they're dead.
Yeah, that happens too.
I could buy the latter one more than the others. If I croak and I'm walking around here and I can't touch stuff and nobody can hear me, I'm gonna look for the door and just make my way in.
Mhm.
I don't want to watch people doing stuff that I wish I could do. When I can't do it anymore. You know what I mean? And I certainly don't want to, get upset when they make decisions or do things that I'm not on board with. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, there's a certain time of saying goodbye as well. You know, that I believe that there is a opportunity to see those that you care for one last time, and before you decide to reach out for the light.
I'd love to share something about my own experience with this
Mhm.
because my son in 2020, after a long battle with juvenile diabetes, suffered a second stroke at age 42. And he wasn't discovered until many hours later when his boss called me, and he was 3 hours late for a shift, and he's never late. And he lingered for 3 days because they told us that the stroke was too deep to try and operate on, and the blood had already filled so much of his brain hemisphere that his brain was herniating. I don't mean to be gross, but this is what was happening. And he lingered for 3 days, and I made the decision he would have made to donate his organs, anything useful for science, because he had already been a scientific study participant for juvenile diabetes all throughout his life. And thankfully, he had become healthy enough at the end that 3 of his organs are keeping 3 people alive right now, which is awesome. So he still lives. But as he was making this transition, and I was down there, I was at his apartment trying to get things settled, and at the hospital and at the funeral home trying to, make these arrangements because it's all lost. There's nothing to do. I felt him with me every time. And there were all these signs, weird things happening. The tune on the radio is just exactly the one that he loved the most. And I'm running into people named Joel everywhere I go. Service people, people at the hotel, the gas station attendant, some random person at a convenience store on the road down there is named Joel. I mean, it was just like bizarre presence with me. And I don't know, I have a sense from one of his girlfriends who told me he was talking about how he was having repeating dreams of having another stroke and dying a couple of weeks before he died. And so I think he knew he was passing, and he was sticking around to make sure I was okay. Or I don't know that he was that confused about what was happening to him at this time.
But, I
Okay.
just wanted you
Is
to
it
know
too
that
soon?
that presence was so powerful to me. Everybody says, oh, you were overcome with grief and that's why you felt it. Yeah, probably because we were very, very close in life. I was his one big protector, and there was nothing I could do. There was really nothing I could do. So
Is it too? Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say that was my own direct experience. Nathan, I don't think I could get any more local than that about ghostly presence for people.
Is it too soon to, as far as you are concerned, Lynn Ann, to go into Melissa?
No, I'm feeling pretty good about it. You can go ahead.
You didn't get to know Melissa there, Nathan, but
A little bit.
she had been a
Only a
member
little
of
bit.
the coven for a while, and because of a disagreement with her spouse, we didn't see her for quite a while. Well, all of a sudden, out of the blue, she contacts me. I don't. Did she also contact you, Lynn?
No. Well, sorta afterwards.
Okay, and she says, I feel a need to contact you. And I said, well, that's fine. What can I do for you? And she didn't know what I could do for her right then. But she says, I think I need you. And you've been one of the best teachers I've had. And I went, well, that's nice. Let's see if we can't get together. 2 days later, she passed away from a small injury that she had at work. She bumped her head and didn't think anything about it. And the same situation, her brain filled up with blood.
Yeah.
And we had to deal with that. Go ahead, Lynn.
That. No, right soon after that, of course, I concerned about her family. But like I said, they will come to you in dreams. They'll come and whisper in the ear. A lot of different things. I can't continue just now. Just give me a few minutes.
Okay. Also, Rose came to me while I was napping today. And she says, "What are you doing with the damn quill?" Not much. She said, "I had Paddle Lee give you that quill for a reason.
Oh my.
You can violate your oath." And I went, and so I'm going to have to talk to the group about that, whether we want to violate that oath or not.
All right.
But yeah. And you know how Rose talked.
Oh yeah, she was down to earth, very down to earth. I think I can tell this story. I had seen Melissa again, like Joe, in a dream, and we were in a huge field of summer flowers. You know, I don't usually dream of summer flowers ever, never before. But there we
Your
were.
dog.
Yeah. And she, I said, "Are you doing okay?" She drew me a kiss, and there was my puppy that's gone for a long time, my little Coco, and she took her paw and waved. Now, the big thing about that was she always liked to play a little game on me and try to stuff that fat little dog into her pocketbook and make off with her. You know? We were talking about a fat little dog. You know? She was as round as a little butterball. And Melissa kept bringing bigger and bigger bags and trying to sneak out with my dog. But she took her little paw and waved to me and blew me a kiss and was gone in the next minute. But I'll tell you what, one of the ways that you can tell if an occurrence is correct, it's real, your skin will have goosebumps.
I get goosebumps just right here along my jawline, just on this right hand side when there is a ghost present. Not on the left, just the right. It's the weirdest thing, and it tickles.
Yeah.
And it just tingles.
I feel it on my crown chakra.
Yeah. We don't have chakras in our chins, do we?
Like little electric beams.
Uh-huh.
But that's almost a foolproof way of knowing.
Yeah.
It's also a way of knowing when someone is lying to you. Because if someone is telling you a falsehood, your body knows.
Yeah.
Right. I have covered this in a previous show. That is like an incompatibility with the power coming off of them and your ability to receive or interpret. It's an incompatibility. It's not that it's not there or in our imaginations, because spirits and lying, right? That carries a frequency. Spirits are on a different wavelength. And then you have interference pattern, like the stuff on your arms, the back hair on the back of your neck.
Right.
I
Now,
mean,
Shadow had said in the chat room, and I'm not sure where he slid off to, but because I get target lock, and Frank has told me he gets like that too. When someone is lying to him, it's like he is absolutely locked on to them. You know, but also if he feels something different, you know, and he says different, but it's spiritual activity, he gets target lock as well.
I've never heard that term before, target lock. Okay.
Target
well,
lock.
it's a military
Target
term.
lock is military, but
Yeah.
it's maybe you should explain that one, Joe.
I got it. I understand it now. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, it's just that when you find yourself in danger, you find the element of where that danger is coming from and
zero in on it.
See it, zone in on it. You're completely there.
Yeah.
So I think we lost Joe for a moment anyway. That's what it means. So there you are. Can you did you lose your mic? Are you on mute?
Check your mic.
I'm fine.
There you are.
Okay, yeah.
No, I just wanted to turn the phone sideways so that
Okay.
I fill the frame.
Yeah. I have that right, don't I?
You have
that
it right.
explanation. Yeah. It says you know that there's something bad happening and you will see it. So
Yeah,
and
empaths, we feel that stuff really strongly.
oh, Storm and Show, there he is. Frank just said
Hey,
it.
Frank.
I gave target lock. Yeah.
What's up, Frank?
Yeah.
I had
Frank and I had an interesting experience back when my best friend passed away. And she and I had a agreement that if one of the other of us passed first, we would contact the other one in this life in the most elaborate way we possibly could. You know, I mean, we're talking as big a sign as we could make it. And understand this individual was absolutely best friend I ever had. And she taught me a great deal of the lesser magics and a couple of the more major ones. But Frank and I are sitting in the front room talking about her, and suddenly the room is full of fairy dust. Brilliant fairy dust. All different colors. I mean, this woman her big thing was glitter. She loved glitter. And the room is full of it. And I'm like, where is this coming from? And I looked at Frank, I said, oh my God, it's Pat. And it got brighter and more of it, and the room just seemed to fill. And just as quickly, boom, gone. And not a bit of it left. And we all know with glitter, that shit sticks to everything.
Yeah, it does. Wow.
I thought, you know, she was one of the most powerful witches I've ever known. One of them. I've known a few, but she was amazing. You know, she could walk into an argument, and I mean a hit, knockdown, fight argument, and just radiate love and everybody to put down the knives, you know?
Yeah.
and calm down and be perfectly reasonable. So, you know, she was very, very special.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not putting down the knife.
I'll make you. Oh, maybe I'll rethink that thought. Come to think of it.
Since it's not a threat to anybody but me.
Right. If you're the one's gonna end up getting hurt with it, you don't fool around with it. What are you cutting up lunch or what?
Foam.
Bone.
Foam.
Oh, foam. Okay.
Yes,
That's
I'm
fine.
making a castle for somebody.
Aha.
Sweet.
That'll
What kind of
be fun.
foam? White or XPS?
White. I found this store that's throwing away the foam in the back.
Oh, nice.
Philistines.
And of course I have to go and rescue it.
Yeah.
I've got several cubic yards of the stuff myself. The pink stuff, on the other hand, that's rare as hen's teeth around these parts.
Well, I can't afford to pay for the insulation foam that they have here in town. They just they love it too much.
Yeah. They don't even sell it in my neck of the woods other than in 2-foot sheets. And I hear tells that they actually make it in 4x8 of various thickness. And I'd sell a kidney for the right amount of it.
Come to El Paso.
Not my kidney, but somebody else's kidney.
I
Well,
was going to say I had a feeling there was a caveat in there somewhere.
Yeah, I need the one I've got.
along with the brain cell.
Well, this is an interesting.
I'm hoping that
question.
they'll divide and I'll have two, but maybe
Yeah,
Santa will bring me one this year.
Dorothy says, why is it that those outside of a religious order who have visions are vilified? Seems like the same mechanism of an unknown instinct to me. Control, power, greed.
Money.
I said greed.
Well, they can be greedy for other things.
Oh, yeah. I suppose.
We're a little past that stage.
Agreed, Dorothy.
That's true.
I've done pretty well with the 2 or 3 that I've been gifted. No activity
Brain
there.
cells
Nathan.
are overrated, huh? I don't know. I haven't gone looking for brain recently. I figure it's lost. It'll come find its way home eventually.
It's out adventuring.
I had a ghost that would watch Ancient Aliens with me. It was really weird. It was very similar to Dorothy's story. My dad has his office. He has an accounting practice, and upstairs there was an apartment. It was a house that's on the main street. So the upstairs is rented, and or was, and that renter left, and he
Interesting,
decided to
nerds,
name. Huh?
Nerd says visions are a claim to authority, so it's natural that existing authority does not like this. I never thought about it like that. The first part.
That threatens them.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Raven. Please continue.
Oh, that's okay. Anyway, my parents were getting ready to move to Florida, and they decided to keep that little apartment, not re-rent it. And I stayed there in this upstairs apartment, and they went on to Florida. Well, the first time I walked up the stairs, man, I just had this really weird feeling of being watched. And I tried to just talk myself out of it, but yet I knew what it was. But it was like, I don't want to mess with this. I'm tired. I just don't want to have to deal with this. And I'm just going to write it off that I'm just in my imagination, and it's not But just in case, I just was talking out loud. So I'm thinking I'm just kind of like talking to myself. But in case there is a ghost there, I'm talking to the ghost too. One of those things. Well, that particular evening, I was washing the dishes in the back of the house, and in the front there was such a crashing sound that I thought one of the windows had fallen out, or like there was like if you could imagine a big box of books and just holding them up and then just dropping them and releasing that boom, it shook the floorboards. And I ran in front, and there was nobody there, and I'm like, okay. And I'm definitely not alone. And this ghost was so real. I mean, he felt recent, and he felt like tangible almost. And so the next day I called Dad and I said, what's the scoop with the person who just used to live here? Because I'm not alone up here. He's like, what? And I said, I'm not alone up here at all. So what's the scoop with the guy that rented this? He rented for like 10 years, a long-time renter. He said, well, he committed suicide. I said, oh, God, you think you could have told me that? And I'm assuming it was inside the apartment at this point, you know. And I'm screaming at him. And he's like, no. He left the house and he went and he hung himself.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, he's back now. Guarantee you, he's here now. And I told him what happened. And my dad just doesn't believe in the paranormal and stuff. I mean, he's opening up to it a little more now. So, but I mean, back then he was just like, oh, you know, he just thought I was just batshit crazy, you know. So he didn't think much more of it. And I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. So I said, well, what was his name? And he told me his name. And so the next day, it was Friday, and that's the big Ancient Aliens Day on History Channel. That's my favorite show. And I literally could feel him walk in the room and sit down on the couch across from me. I mean, I just couldn't see him, but I could feel him. And it was almost like he even created a breeze when he walked, you know? It was just really trippy. So, and it hadn't been very long since he had committed suicide. It had been within like 2 or 3 months. So it was fresh.
Still very strong life force.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was feeling, like there was a life force there. So, so I just started to talk to him. And I said, now look, I'm aware of the fact you're here. Okay. Now I'm going to lay down some rules here because obviously we're cohabitating the same space and I don't really know you. No peeking in the bathroom. Don't you dare. If I sense you come in that bathroom when I'm in the shower, I will have you banished. I'll have a priest down here faster than you can say shit and you'll be gone. So don't mess with me. I'm not playing either. And I said, you know, don't mess with me when I'm in my sleep. Just don't mess with me. Don't touch me and don't scare me. And you're welcome to stay then if you can be a gentleman. And he would always come in the room when Ancient Aliens was on. So I was always watching it. And I could
like the show.
Yeah, I think he did. I don't know if he'd ever seen it. So he was my little ghost buddy friend for the Ancient Aliens show.
I don't know what it is about suicides, and it just may be a lack of experience on my part, but now I have experienced suicides hanging out where I was at. The guy that they gave me an office when I first went to work for a now defunct caregiving outfit, that man had gotten morose and decided to end it all and hung himself in my office. And nobody bothered to say anything about it. They just wanted to see if they could upset me, I think. But
see if you pick up
one day
on
I'm there making payroll and trying to get these hours together, and my scheduler was down sick or something. I don't remember exactly. And suddenly there's feet brushing my desk. And I'm like, what the hell? I looked up at him. I said, if you're done entertaining yourself, I have work to do. you know, because I realized it was spiritual, you know. And he's like, took himself down, hopped down. He goes, "You can see me." I said, "Yeah." I said, "You're kind of blue in the face, and it ain't too cute," you know. And argued with this guy about getting out of my office. So I finished, you know, I'm there late anyhow. I want to get this done, and this guy's in my way. You know, since you're gonna drag and boo-hoo about your life, move on out of here. Come back when you want to talk it over and get it settled. You know, just did my thing. Now I get scared like anybody else when something like that happens, but the big thing is don't let them know you're scared.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was sure humdinger. So I walked into my boss's office the next morning. I said, "You want to come clean about that office?" Well, Mr. So and so passed away in there. I said, "No, he didn't. He hung himself." You know, I said, "And he hasn't left, by the way." And she goes, "Oh my God," you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But oh, but what is it about suicides? Is it because they feel they've done the wrong thing, or they regret the action? They have some of the hardest time getting getting settled from that kind of passing. Of course, it's not
Well,
a
I
good way to go.
think every culture has a pretty strong doctrine on it, and that's a first class ticket to the hot place.
Well,
And
now
when
you say every culture, you're talking about every
sorry
Christian.
about that.
I think you're
Everyone that I'm
talking about
familiar
every
with.
Christian culture. They all don't.
The other ones that I know of, and I imagine for a second you off yourself, right?
Yeah.
And you look down, you see your body there, and you're able to maybe see your ghostly self or whatnot. I think at that moment you're probably pretty well aware of what's going to happen, or at least that there's
Right.
something beyond, because a lot of people who do that think they're going to end their suffering, and finding out that you've ended nothing, just a whole bunch of opportunities to enjoy a life once you get past that bumpy patch, and instead they take that particular way out. I think it would become pretty evident that it ain't over, and there's only two options as far as I know. After that, they're probably not willing to take the next step.
Well, I have something of a different take on it, but I don't think it's a good way to end a life. We make a certain contract before we ever enter this world, and to accomplish certain things within our abilities, our capabilities. Sometimes we reach the goal, sometimes we don't. But I've noticed that every single time when things seemed absolutely lost for me, I hang for just a little bit longer and things improve or they completely turn around every single time. And I believe
Good
that
for you.
it's that loss of faith that may be the ultimate mistake, even more so than the actual suicide. Hard to know.
Mhm.
So anyway,
So don't do it, folks. You ever thinking of that? Just give one of us a ring. Don't do
yeah,
that. Because I
just
find out you
hang a
did that,
little longer.
I'll kick your ass.
Well, the moments of pain aren't worth the permanent
I read
fix.
Terry
in the
Pratchett.
end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here Storm says, and that's Frank. When you die,
Yeah,
you
I read
get the
Terry
hell you
Pratchett put it
think
a
you
good way.
deserve. You know, and
Yeah,
he and I have had some
sorry.
some
I
very
must be
intense
lagging.
discussions about
I
it.
must be.
A little, Nathan. A little.
Nathan?
Go ahead, Nathan.
Did we completely lose you?
Can't hear you.
I'm here.
Okay, there you are. Okay.
What were you going to say, Nathan?
Yeah,
Terry Pratchett.
there's lag. I was gonna say I read Terry Pratchett. Yeah, I read Pratchett, where in his book, someone jumped off of a building, and the guy realized halfway down, it's not that bad, but he was already on it, and he said it comically, but gallows humor. And if anybody's read Terry Pratchett, he had a very unique relationship with death. He had personified death as not someone who was an evil doer who's coming to get you. He was the guy who, when things were already dead, death would come and escort you to whatever afterlife. And I think me and Frank are on the same frequency as that, when he was saying, you get the afterlife you deserve, you think you deserve. Because that's what he said too. That's what Terry Pratchett said too, but he put it in many, many different words.
Yeah.
That's all.
Well, I think a lot of times we look at death as the ultimate enemy, and so often it is the bringing of relief, particularly
The lady in the white outfit.
Yeah, the lady in white. You know, and
Before
we've talked about this back and forth, where death is who you expect her to be. No, the
Late. I expect her to be very, very late.
you know women real well, don't you?
No, what she's talking about is, the warrior in the field. I can see him seeing death as the character in the black outfit and carrying a shepherd's staff and telling you it's time to go, or the Valkyries coming down and picking up your body. But I can also see, like my mother, who spent months, in and out of the hospital, having an operation she didn't want that I couldn't stop them from doing on her heart, and it only gave her a couple of weeks. And I'm pretty sure that when she saw death, it was a lady in white that she saw, because that was to relieve her suffering at the time. But I'm sure when it happens suddenly, it's got to be the guy in black. You just gotta, it's just the way we envision it. Not that it actually changes character that much, but this way we envision it.
So invisible. Gotcha.
Every culture has its personification of death, and the Egyptians had Anubis, and he took you to where one of the goddesses weighed your heart against a feather, and it had better weigh less.
That was Ma'at.
Pardon me?
It was the Egyptian goddess Ma'at.
Oh, okay, Ma'at, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's is different in every culture. The Norse had their Valkyries, were the warriors, and of course Christians see their guardian angel or Jesus to come to get them. And I don't think any of them are wrong.
No, I don't either.
I think it's exactly who you expect. I've seen, of course, I've caregived for a very long time. I've been the last person to hold a hand on their way out, and almost without exception, each person that has passed over has seen their loved ones. So
Frank has a comment here he put in the chat, and I don't know if I'm going to butcher this pronunciation or not, but the lady in white can sometimes can also somewhat a reference to Loviatar.
Levitar.
It's a Loviatar. Loviatar, the Maiden of Pain. I've never heard of this before.
The Mexicans call her Dolores.
mm-hmm.
Dolores. Okay, and am I saying that right? Leviatar.
Levitar.
How do you pronounce it, Frank? Say it into my mic.
Loviatar.
Okay, Leviatar, the Maiden of Pain.
That's an extra
So
I'm
what
not familiar
culture?
with.
I don't know which culture that is, but then she exists in several different ones.
I'll write this down. I wondered if it was Norse or something like that. I'm gonna write this down. Cool. I always love learning new stuff like this.
Some of the pantheons deal with different, not just with a culture, but different subsets within that culture, different classes and belief systems inside that culture. Much like the United States has multiple belief systems.
Yep.
That's interesting. Usually the crone is usually the one associated with any type of death or pain or suffering. It's Finnish. Okay.
You may think it's the crone, but I think there's a fourth aspect to the goddess. People see maiden, mother, crone, but I think there's a hidden aspect to her, just like there's a hidden aspect to the god known as the dark god. And that's where I think the one that's for death. I mean, I've seen a lot of people like me. We got a lot of life left in us right now. So I don't think being sage or crone is necessarily being the personification of death.
Right.
Croning is just a regular part of life. I mean, you of course you have your youth and parenthood, the blossoming of your life, and then you reach old age, but it doesn't end there, and that's kind of what you're saying.
I like the Norse goddess Hel. HEL. She's the dark god. She's got she's sometimes pictured black on this side and white on this side, or a skeletal and then flesh on this side. And I met her in a guided meditation and it freaked me out. But it's really cool now. But at the time, it scared the hell out of me.
We got Gaia.
Obviously.
And
I don't know. Gaia is the Earth goddess, of course, but
and there's Osiris, and Eve has been associated with death. Anna Monday has been associated with death, and even Mother Nature herself has been associated with death.
Oh
Oh,
no,
yeah, 'cause
not
Mother
Mother
Nature wants to
Nature.
kill all of us.
Right.
You ever been outside? Oh my goodness.
What commercial was that where they always say, it's not nice to fool Mother Nature?
I
Except
can't
butter.
believe it's not butter, I think.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
I always love to see the old bat hit you with the 28-day surprise, you know. Although I gotta admit, it was
Yeah.
usually pretty welcome. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, Seder's attack. Magic. Mm-hmm.
I'm going to hop out and back into the chat because I've shared about all I can possibly share about my own little experiences, but I'm having a good time listening to all of yours. So I'll be back in the chat. Thanks so much for letting
Right
me
here,
know.
Dorothy. Have a
Thanks
great
for
Okay.
night.
being here.
None
Thanks,
of your
Dorothy.
experiences were small.
Yeah.
Thanks,
They were
Dorothy.
all wonderful.
Sorry for your loss, Dorothy.
Thanks. My son, a lot of people know this. My son made me promise before he passed that I would carry on if for some reason he didn't survive me. And so that's sort of where this whole thing of getting back into ufology came from, was trying to get back into the life and the things that I'm interested in. So I'm really grateful for all the support of all you people on a
Anytime.
daily basis online to help me come back to myself, because I feel so much more like myself now. And that's a good thing.
Good.
Yeah,
All
we
right.
never get over, but we do get through.
Yeah, it's nothing you ever get over, but it does morph and change, and the hard edges do soften over time. And I'm grateful for that. You know, I'm more appreciative of the life I had with him than mourning the day that he passed, or the few days that were so excruciating when he passed. And
That's right out there.
that's over the hump now, you know.
Yeah.
Because he's still living inside three people. It's hard to think of him as gone anyway. And my whole faith tradition would have me believing that he's still going on. So, you know, everybody gets to believe what they want to believe. Take what you want and leave the rest. Okay, my kid's
Yep.
still alive. I can't touch him or hold him, but he's still around, and that gives me great pleasure, because he's got more effects to have on people from the other side than he ever had on this plane. So it's all good.
Very true.
Have a great night, everybody. Thanks again.
Good night, dear.
See ya.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
Dorothy.
Well,
Dorothy's
well,
awesome,
it
y'all.
sure went dark tonight, didn't it? But somebody's got to
Well,
explore the hard stuff.
that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we got here organically. We didn't force the issue.
No.
We came to it organically, because, hey, you can't have ghosts without ghosts. And how do they get there? You know?
It's true.
Yeah.
I think one of the
And
things about
ahead.
ghosts, it reminds us that it may be not a life in this realm, but it's a doorway into another one. You know, we never ever die. We just don't.
Right. You change frequencies.
Yeah.
That's me.
We
That's
walk
me.
into
And
the next room.
I don't know, Lynn. Every time I watch the news, I die a little inside.
You know
you
what?
need to
I'm
stop
getting-
watching the news.
I thought
Stop
I was
watching
getting
the
some
news.
kind of weird sound in my headphone. It's in my head. It's the high pitched noise.
Uh-huh.
You know, the high pitched squeal. I thought it was
Yep.
I thought it was in the speaker. It's not. It was in my head. It's gone
Maybe
now,
it's
but for
pressure.
just a second there.
Yeah, pressure changes. You're not supposed to hear them, but we do.
It was only in one
I don't-
side.
Yeah. Same here. And I've heard them since I was a little girl.
Oh yeah. We have a friend who when he gets a certain feeling in an ear, on one side it's very good news, on the other side it's not so good a news. And invariably it turns out that way. It's one of those, yeah, my ear is itching. It's gonna be good news. Yay, you know.
Yeah.
So,
What is
hi,
it with
guys,
that?
Merritt.
Yeah.
You're
Tim
new.
is in the
Glad
chat
to
saying
see you
he
here.
came here. He got here late, but that's okay.
That's all right.
Who's
Lynn
new?
Ann, do you happen to know, or Joe,
Guy?
what it is about mugwort that is so offensive to ghosts? Have you heard of using mugwort to keep them away?
I
Yes, no?
don't know anything about that. I don't.
Yeah,
Do you,
there's
Joe?
Mugwort?
I think it's one of several. I mean, even lavender has been known to make things peaceful when there's supposedly ghosts around. So, mugwort is believed to help get rid of negative energies. And I guess that could include a ghost, but oh yeah, well, you know what?
Yeah.
With Mrs. Springer's, I didn't think that was a negative ghost. Okay, she did. So,
So we had a angry spirit when we lived on Solano. And which is kind of odd because, you know, there's a bunch of witches living in the old parish house of church next door. But I suppose that there might have been a little bit of animosity there. I don't know. But I took a tin pan, an old aluminum tin pan, nothing special. Poured white bitter vinegar in there. Said, salted it, and said, "You got 24 hours out." You know.
well, you know, there's also, you know, there's lavender, mugwort, sage.
Yeah.
Sage seems to be very important, but we have people now saying that we've taken the sage from the Indians and we've appropriated their culture. Well, every culture we have on Earth has appropriated something from somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like to use this
We
the
all come
example
from
of a shovel.
indigenous people. People
Right,
don't.
I like to use the
remember
example of a shovel. You know, we are not appropriating ancient Egypt by using a shovel. Is it
No.
offensive to use a shovel? No, it's a tool. Sage is a tool, and
Yeah.
that is not a.
If we would have gone to our ancestors and said, you know, you can't do thus and so and trade with people for your knowledge for theirs. You know, if we did that, we should not be who we are today. We couldn't be who we are today.
Yeah,
No,
we're not appropriating anything. I
just don't get it.
Stealing.
Yeah, I think the real problem we have. I think the real problem we have with it is we should be growing our own, because it is starting to get elusive out in the wild. So
they have them in Walmart now. I saw some in Walmart, smudge sticks over by the candle department.
Yeah, I saw them on Amazon and Temu.
Wow.
What are
smudge
they?
Stick? in Walmart.
Smudge sticks.
The
No,
stage bundles. They had a stage bundle and a stick of Palo Santo wood for like $8.99 or something like that in the box, and then you could buy 3 smudge sticks, sage smudge sticks.
Sage is sacred on the European continent. It's sacred on the in the Middle Eastern, as well as the Eastern.
Oh, what
Not
we
to
used to
mention
use.
North America.
What we used to use was frankincense and myrrh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And there is a cheap version of myrrh out here in the desert. So we can get that easily, but we can't get the frankincense
right
very
here.
easily.
Really cool little resin. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but salt is very easy to get hold of.
Yeah.
And it's a very common substance used for magical practices.
Mm-hmm.
It can
all of them use salt in one form or another for purification.
well, if they don't use salt, they use the soil itself.
Yeah.
Salt can be sprinkled around the space. It can be used in a bath. It can be perfumed and used in a bath. You know?
Yeah.
And
bath bombs.
Bath bombs, right?
And
Epsom salt.
Did you get off that computer?
You know,
Raven's
so
cats are in the chat.
I think it bears understanding that yeah, they're at it again, huh? Anyway, it bears understanding that every single person on the face of the earth had ancestors who were indigenous peoples. All of them.
Yeah.
You know, and to cast that away, you know, as some sort of falsehood is a mistake. We're all the sum total of thousands of years of human development. We traded, we sold, we bought, bartered, and some people stole, you know, different ideas and things and ways of doing things. You know, even today, if a farmer looks over at his neighbor and the neighbor's doing something just a little bit different and he can see the benefit to himself, he'll use it. And shouldn't he be?
I got a question.
Okay.
I'm totally at a loss when it comes to the needing of herbs and spices, salt, all this stuff. Anytime I've ever had any issue whatsoever, I just use my old brain and make it go away, and I'm never troubled again. Anytime I've ever been worried, afraid, any of those things, the last thing I was thinking is going through the cupboards. I'm just like, just be gone.
Right. And a lot of people, like, well, the reason why we do ritual is not because we need it. We don't choose the colors. We don't choose the herbs. We don't choose to have all the altars and all that because we need it. It's that those people around us need it in order to suspend their disbelief in what we're doing.
Also, ritual is a way to focus the own mind by giving it a sort of discipline, a disciplinary practice. That's all.
That's part of it. Well,
I
tell
learned that
me,
in Buddhism.
if you go to a doctor's office and you're there to see a doctor you've never met before, and a guy walks in, he has no white coat on, he has nothing but streets on, you know, regular shirt and pants and or dress, you know, and sits down and begins to discuss your problem with you. I don't know about you, but my first question is,
who the hell are you?
Who
Yeah,
are
I haven't
you?
seen a doctor in 10 years. I probably won't
Who
ever
are
again
you?
unless I'm bleeding.
Okay, but
And even
who
then,
are
if I'm
you?
bleeding, I'll probably just get some super glue and tape, and I'll be fine.
Yeah,
Right. Well,
that's how
you
I
see
feel
what
about
she's
it.
saying.
But you see what I'm saying. You're not being
Yeah,
obtuse.
for other folks, I guess. If if that comforts them, awesome. But I'm just wondering why.
That same doctor, though, if he walks in with a white coat, you don't even question who he is. Well, Frank does, but we have our
Yeah,
reasons.
like I said, I don't. I haven't trusted doctors for a good long time, decades.
I
And
think
like
you're
I
a
said,
very smart man and continue to do so as long as you can.
I can tell you horror stories of what I've seen, but for the most
You've seen
part,
butt?
Yeah.
No.
I can tell you
some
some
horror
stories about that
stories
as
already.
well, Joe. But this is a family show. No,
Yeah.
just wondering,
Seen
am
a
I a
few
weirdo?
ourselves, huh,
What's the
Joe?
deal?
There's a lot of families up at this hour.
So I'm just weird.
Yeah,
Is that
I've got
what you're saying?
another.
Without being obtuse, you understand what I'm saying. And the human psyche requires a certain amount of pomp and circumstance in order to go ahead and understand certain mysteries.
I suppose I've never been a fan of those either, but
I hate pomp and circumstance.
But we
See,
use
that's
it
what makes you
anyhow.
quantum,
Use it
Shadow.
anyway. Hey,
pardon,
Fun.
Ethan?
One
I
and
didn't know what
done,
you said.
right at whatever. You got old soul, Shadow.
Yeah.
How do you think you know these things?
Just
You're born
lucky,
with
I
it.
guess.
Where did it come from?
Yeah,
Just
really.
lucky, I guess.
Sure,
Good, clean
okay.
living. Good, clean living. Lots of vitamins.
I thought you didn't take pills.
Oh yeah, I take a vitamin every day. Just you want to hear something crazy? Want
Sure.
to hear something crazy? I always check my vitamins. When I buy them. For iron, because I get cold super easy, and that's usually a sign of you need iron in your diet. Even though I'm pretty much a carnivore, but during the winter I can get really cold really quick. Also because I smoke like a chimney.
Yeah, that's where your
Well-
iron loss is.
But multivitamins don't have iron anymore. They stopped putting iron in them about a year ago.
Well, that's interesting because I bought vitamins today and they had iron in them.
Everywhere I go,
I'm very sure they had iron.
hey, I'm
Well-
totally straight, Timothy.
He lives in California.
Yeah, but I'm totally straight.
That's a non sequitur, isn't it?
Well, no, he just look at his last. Well, not his last comment.
I've got you. I'm sorry. I couldn't. You left yourself so wide
The
open.
secret. Okay.
I just
There-
checked
there-
mine and I've
okay,
got.
I will replace my multi with a couple of Flintstones. Not a problem.
Well, iron.
These have
should
18
be-
milligrams of iron in it, and I'm sure that's not enough.
Oh no.
Sorry.
No, I had to start buying, just iron separately, and that's not always easy to get either. But then again, I live in the middle of freaking nowhere. Well, not well. I mean, we've got a Walmart, so it's not nowhere. But
Well, then
You
should
buy
be-
yourself a bunch of
Yeah, I'm
iron
sorry.
nails and you drop them into water. You let them rust, then you drink it.
Justin,
You don't like his
I'm
idea.
gonna slap you so
Get
hard
iron.
Monday.
Take your iron skillet and cook
Just
your
chew
food
on
in
that.
it. That'll give you plenty of
gnaw
iron.
on that
as
for a
well.
little
No, that doesn't give you plenty. Gives you a little.
Should
But
give
But
you
the old
plenty.
farmer, that's what he used to do, is he'd drop a bucket of nails down the well.
Or suck
my
on
God.
one.
I mean, I like crunchy food, but that seems to be taken a little far.
No, you don't get crunchy on that.
No.
You just get orangey looking water. Yuck. Or go to Fort Stockton and drink their water. Not California, Texas. Fort Stockton, Texas.
Yeah. They got a lot of iron in it.
That'll be one of my first stops when I get the hell out of this particular location, but that's not for a couple of years, unfortunately. So, Joe, you better stick around. So I'll be paying you a visit.
I'm not.
I'm hoping to go up to Tiburon.
That's not that far from where you're at.
No, it's not. If I could fly there, it would be a very, very short flight. But instead, I got to go the long way around.
Well, you could, let them take you over there and shove you out to approximately the right moment and just parachute in.
What's up, Rob?
I've talked to you about my experience on parachutes before. That better be a damn good civilian parachute, because I ain't getting in an army one again. The boys had their complaints about that.
You know what my opinion of that is, don't you? I see no reason at all to get out of a perfectly good airplane, and certainly not in the air.
Yeah, especially since there's an airport there.
That's weird. I won't get in a perfectly good airplane.
I don't like it. I've had to do it from time to time, but there's just something unnatural about it. Just unnatural.
Just take your broom with you.
Well, I don't mind that so much, but when I come to the end of the cord, man, that is some jerk.
I didn't say vacuum cleaner.
Well, what do you think I did with all those damn things?
Hey, listen. You said you wanted some, and I'm going, are you sure? And you went, yes. And I went, okay. Pinky, she's all yours.
Oh, you did it. You hexed me.
Hey, it was an excellent opportunity to learn what I learned the hard way.
Just a little bit of rain.
Yeah, just a little bit of rain. All weekend long.
On one little place.
Right. One side of Dripping Springs it was raining. The other side of Dripping Springs it wasn't.
All weekend long. Death tube? Screw that. Okay.
I'm still here. I was typing. I ordered some
no
iron.
idea what that means. Well, we have quite a bunch in that chat room having a good time all by themselves.
Yeah, we got
They
14.
don't need us.
14 right now.
What was that? All right. Well, the guys are home from racing.
Oh boy.
Roughly early. So you might hear the sounds of jubilation or utter desolation. You never know with this. But
Them's the races.
oh my gosh. I didn't actually have any trouble finding vitamins today without iron. Not at all.
Without iron or with iron?
With iron.
Okay.
I'm sorry, did I say it wrong? I might have.
You might have. I might have heard wrong. I'm not sure which one is correct.
Yeah, mine is.
They both have iron.
Yeah, mine doesn't have very much. It has 18 milligrams, and that's just not enough. So I went ahead and ordered some more.
I said it wrong. Oh, okay. I said it wrong. It's me. I need to go sit in the naughty chair.
No, we already corrected it, so it's gone. Oh.
Right. Tim saying a live chat room during these kinds of shows does something to a YouTube algorithm. I give up on the algorithm. I give up. That's why I say if you're here, you're quantum, because how the hell else are you supposed to find this show?
Yeah, seriously. I mean, just falling into this show means you belong here. But, with quantum in particular, when you start to realize that everything has a synchronicity and
Yeah.
that we have a certain ability to work within our parameters, so to speak. But we do end up at places we're supposed to be at, doing things we're supposed to be doing. You run your.
Are you rapping something, Joe?
He's cutting on something, aren't you?
No, I'm now sorting some electronics.
Okay,
that's
I
what
can
you
hear all kinds of background noise there. That's okay. I mean, it's not overwhelming or anything.
It's not terrible. It's not terrible on my end of it. But then I'm just as deaf as a post. So
yeah, like to stay on that kind of key, like when we had. Okay, do y'all remember when? Okay, the quantum link, right? Y'all remember Shadow and when we had what I call the Black Ops show? I started getting noises on here. Shadow, Shadow, you had a helicopter fly over. Do you remember that? I remember that. The anomalies show up, and then one time we were all here, and a tarot card reader showed up.
How can that be?
And then Jack didn't like that, so he left that time. But the anomalies show up, and what happened tonight? Before the show, Lynn, you saw somebody pass in front of my camera while I was going and getting coffee.
I seriously thought
Another
somebody
time?
was there with you.
Yeah. Another
it's just
time,
so
Raven, Raven, you and I saw a shadow right here up by Lynn's shoulder. The anomalies show up.
That's where the
when
dog
people come
liked
in-
to hang out when she was not feeling well. Where she wanted to go memes.
It was a comfortable. It was a comfortable spot for her, and she liked it even on that side of things. So yeah, the anomalies show up, and I love that about what we do here.
He got knocked off. Where did he
Yeah,
go?
it looks like it. He may be coming back. I've got a lot of lag going on.
As far as the algorithms, you're not here for that. You're here to bring a message, and that's what you're here for. And the rest of it, no, never mind.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not even monetized, and even when I get 1,000 subs, I'm not going to worry about monetization, honestly, because that's not what this is. That's not the point of all this. Like local ghosts, I don't think they're going to subscribe. I don't think they're going to. They don't have the tech to do that. They have the tech to get in front of the camera to mess up our sound, and I welcome that. Any anomalies want to come by?
That's just
come
their
on
way
by.
of saying, hey,
That's him. Don't be messing with my show.
Just have vampires asking to come in on your show. That's all.
That must have been
May we please come in?
No.
They
you
have
cannot.
to ask to enter,
Yeah. Tell you what, give me your mailing address. I'll send you the password.
Yeah, that's the rules. They have to be invited in.
Mhm. And Tim has a good point right here.
Which is
A lot of people call that pareidolia. However, what that
Those of
is
us that can
also is a
pronounce it.
link to your pareidolia. Yeah, it's a link to your subconscious, which is directly quantum linked or linked to the supernatural.
well. Now I'm a little puzzled. What do you mean finding faces in the dark?
Okay,
What does that mean?
Congrats, Dorothy.
I'm familiar with this. Like, I mean, you see what looks like faces because your mind will now in pareidolia land, right? When you are, it's kind of like a lack of input where your mind will create input to keep it doing something. However, that is it is an it is a enigma of the psychological world, right? Like if you are blindfolded for a long period of time, like sensory deprivation, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Or or just dark, you can make
Uh-huh.
up faces. Your mind playing tricks on you. However, that is your link to your subconscious. And if there's a face there, that means something to you, maybe on a personal level, or you're actually seeing an entity. It means something, just like signs and symbols. Everything means something to somebody. We have the
True.
common. Is that Joe coming back in? Yeah, it's Joe coming
I
back
think he tried to.
But yeah, that's yeah, he's trying to. Got
Yeah, I let him in last time. I'll do it again. Get your hiney in here.
We are? I don't think I've ever done that. Just
Pattern recognition. I think you
oh,
said about
you know, though that may be it because there's certain patterns of things I don't see. You know, like when you
Mhm.
look at one of those things that have a whole bunch of little pictures in them, I see the pictures. I don't see the big, uh,
Yeah, I know what
the
you're talking
big
about. There's that.
picture. I see all the details, and
Uh-huh.
my mind really doesn't make the larger picture.
Gotcha.
Drives me crazy. Oh, look at that! There's a whole uh, landscape or something on this thing, and damned if I can see it. You know,
Timothy, I was never a fish.
What?
and if you were, you would deny it vehemently.
Absolutely. There's no proof.
I I don't know about all that. It's an adaptation from when we were fishes. I'm sorry. As far as I know, there's no fishes in my background.
Me neither.
Now there was a Fritch once upon a time, but he was like married in or some such. Lady bikers. Now what's going on in there?
I have
I
no
don't know. I
idea.
like the comments. It's from what Lunar was saying earlier.
Okay, I missed what he was saying earlier.
I guess so. I know I missed it.
No, I suddenly didn't have volume here. I had to.
We got drag queens messages, UFOs. I haven't noticed any drag queens recently.
Hey, did anybody read about that UFO over Russia today?
No, I hadn't heard that one.
I saw it on MSN. It
Well,
was
that was
bright.
the first mistake.
Well, when I
Go ahead,
turn on
Joe.
my computer, it automatically goes to that. Anyway, it was bright, and people were comparing it to hologram.
Project Bluebeam, or the holograms that are touring the world right now of the whales floating in the air.
No, this was outside, and people were complaining how bright it was.
Well, they do it outside also. If
Well,
you
I
can
don't know.
post
It
a
wasn't
link-
whales.
Yeah, look into that, Joe. They're pretty weird.
I can send you probably a link to your Facebook page, but
Just send it through Messenger because I never use Facebook.
Okay, well, I can't access it on the show. I'd show it, but I can't. It'll lock up. My
well,
computer will lock up if I try to show anything.
yeah,
on there.
I'm on my cell phone.
My signal indicator is so low.
Yeah, I had
Okay, I know it's
I
difficult
had
to do all
read
this
the
stuff.
news today, but I hadn't
Bouncing
seen
back. I'm
anything
bouncing
like
back from here to there. I'm using, like, whenever I type something, I mute myself and use voice, and it usually says something wrong. I need to go check that out from Russell Brand, Dorothy.
Mm-hmm.
that. You know, Raven,
Tim,
Your
it
house
wouldn't be
has
the
been
Quantum
very
Show if we
quiet
didn't have tech
today.
problems.
Yeah.
What'd you do? Slip Benadryl into their kitty feet or what?
No, I didn't.
I got a special
No, but-
shirt in your honor today.
You did, but I love it.
Diamond-shaped UFO over Russia.
That's cool.
I thought you'd appreciate it. It says
Yes,
it's I'm
absolutely.
fine. It's fine. Everything's fine.
My people skills are fine too. They haven't found the evidence yet.
Your people skills are fine, but your idiot skills don't work so well, huh?
No. Somehow I managed to get along with them too.
A friend of mine,
You get along with me just fine. I shouldn't say anything.
a friend of mine saw a cigar-shaped UFO today.
What
Really?
was he smoking?
Nothing yet, you guys. It had
Floydie
five-
said sometimes a cigar is just a cigar.
Okay, diamond-shaped UFO over Russia. Come on now. You get me when I'm...
Raven, go ahead and report that sighting. What?
He said it was just kind of, it would hover and he could see like 5 lights down the side. It was just like a cigar shape. It moved over sideways at one point and then just took off.
We had seen a UFO out in the desert towards the mountains a few weeks ago. There was 5 lights all blinking together in a clump, and then they all went across and came back into center
Mm-hmm.
and disappeared.
Mm-hmm. I've heard of that. I've never witnessed one like that, but I was just
I've
gonna.
never seen anything like that before. It surprised me, and that we left the area really quickly.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard to tell who the good guys are and who the bad guys are. I'm just
I
looking at
don't
facts.
really want to have to figure it out, and I'm not up
I
for any
really don't
special tests, so I left. You
Mhm.
know?
Yeah.
You didn't want any probing questions?
No probing questions.
No probing
today.
anything.
Trying to quit.
I like to pick and choose that sort of operation, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sorry, there will be no picking nor choosing over here.
Mhm.
I reiterate. Never mind.
What?
He's getting himself in trouble, and in that
I
corner,
reiterate my previous statement. No, nobody remembers.
So much lag on
I
my-
know
wonder-
Justin does.
I wonder if this will read that. No, it won't.
Nobody freak out. I have to adjust my settings here.
Okay.
Joe,
Justin.
there's no way in this world I can read that.
All
No, I
right.
can't read it either.
What does it say?
If I was in the same
Diamond
room, I would be able to
UFO
read it.
spotted cruising over Russia. Glows so brightly it'll hurt your eyes. Reported 21 hours ago. And they have a picture of it too.
What up?
And there is
Okay, well, send the link and I'll put it in after the show.
You don't know this cantankerous old computer of mine. It's 15 years old and it wants to do its own.
It's got a life of its own. You got AI going on over there, huh?
Well, it's artificial. I don't know if it's intelligent.
Hard to say, Tom. There's so many weird tech things happening right now, and that's a hot zone. Russia, all that side of Europe is a hot zone.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they seem to like to find wars.
Well, and there's one that just started. Well,
So-
not started, but escalated awful fast.
Mm-hmm.
What's it going to take
Yeah,
for that
Justin,
area of
the
world
one
to
that
find peace?
says
No, it was fine a couple of years ago.
ain't no time.
But it doesn't last long. It's as if there's just so much blood soaked into that ground that it just can't find peace. Because it's not long before there's another war, or another killing, or another bomb, or another whatever. I mean, they've just been fighting since the beginning of recorded history this time around. There's over 2,000 years of nothing but
Yep.
bloodshed in that area of the world. Nothing but bloodshed. You had the Hittites. You had all the other cultures even before, this most recent. The Lebanese and the whatever, It's always been there.
And we've talked about ghosts, and I think one of the biggest hotbeds of ghost phenomena in the United States is Gettysburg, Antietam, and Fredericksburg.
Yep. Yeah.
And that, of course, being the Civil War for those who are listening in UK, some of the other folks. But those areas are absolutely a hotbed of ghost activity.
Gettysburg is really haunted.
Yeah, I know. I've been there.
to other places. I didn't notice a thing.
And there's some really interesting footage that just your average tourist is able to take, and let alone the private investigators. But they had an interesting mirror experiment that they did, because this entity was coming out of a mirror, and they had this mirror in one of the homes that you could tour there that belonged to somebody that was important to that battle that was there. And this they could, every once in a while they would catch it just out of the corner of your eye, him coming and going. Well, there was another house that was kind of linked to this house, and it just proved how you can use these mirrors as a portal, how he was going back and forth and through those, and other spirits were too. But then once they covered up that mirror and took it out of there, then all the activity did stop and everything calmed down, and they didn't see that particular spirit again. And I'm like, wow. I mean, so when you shed the body and you're you're just running around, how cool you can travel through mirrors. I'd be afraid of getting lost though.
One of the old I hesitate to call it myths, but one of the old traditions that was in Europe and then the United States as mirrors became more accessible to the common person. When we were still holding our funerals and such, like from the home, like the
Yeah, and they would cover up the mirrors as soon as somebody
that's where I was trying to go. You cover them up and any sort of portal like that, you would cover up anything that would give a reflection.
Mm-hmm.
In some cases, the old china cabinets would be covered up as well. Because they do cast a reflection.
So, do the demonic entities use them also?
I don't know.
Can aliens use them?
I don't think they need them.
Yeah, I think I agree with Shadow. I don't think they particularly need them. Demonic entities, that really doesn't fall into any.
Why would they need them?
I believe
there's not many more.
That movie Constantine at the very beginning. Was it Constantine?
That was based on a comic book. I wouldn't put too much stock in it. It's a fun movie, but
they trap a demon in a mirror. At the very beginning of the show, there's a possessed girl, and the priest is going to go.
That's Hollywood for you.
Yeah. I seriously doubt you can trap a demon in anything other than hell.
Well, and they do good to hold them as well. But as far as that sort of thing, I think I would be very cautious of anything that evil snooping around my homestead. I have not had too much encounter with truly evil things. They tend not to want to hang out anywhere near me.
Fucking Joe. Yeah. I've had a few experiences. You don't want to mess with that.
No. I would suppose that if there wasn't such an entity, that ghostly spirits and that sort of thing could maybe pretend to be that evil, or maybe they really are. They're just as demented in the next life as they are in this one. Yeah, it's been my experience.
I just saw something on Joe's camera.
Yeah, there it is
Sorry
again.
to interrupt. It was a spur. I saw something.
The orb.
Let's take comments off the screen. Let's maximize the screen. I saw something on the screen and I blinked and missed the second one.
Okay.
It looked like it was going up. The one I saw was a little. It could have been a fur ball. I don't know, but it was going up like that.
I didn't see any cats or anything.
Only show up, y'all. No, it could have been a fur ball. Really, and I didn't see the second one that said they saw.
Much.
Oh, the second one was Joe. I was just joking.
Oh,
okay.
I saw something on Joe's screen at about 2:13. About 2 hours and 13 minutes in. I'm gonna write that down.
Okay. Yeah, you should look.
Woo! What do we got going on? Local ghosts.
First we see one ourselves, and then we'll had different ones creeping around. The only one who hasn't had a lot of activity at night
Yeah.
is Raven.
Nerd said it looked like a moth.
Well, maybe it was.
It
It's
could have
probably a
been.
moth.
Bats in the belfry. Who knows?
You know what? Cats are guardians. So
Mhm.
Raven has all the guardians there.
Right.
Cats are guardians.
But
And
does she really need 20 of them?
they see and they fight. Do what?
Some,
Does
some
she
of
really
my
need
some of my
20? I mean, how haunted is that place?
Is that all?
the,
How many cats do you have? Last count.
I haven't counted. I haven't counted lately, honestly. Some of them are here every night to eat. Some of them aren't. Some of them live in this little house over here.
I
Some
know the
disappear for a
feeling.
couple days and then they come back around.
I
So
know
it's
the
hard to say.
feeling.
Some of them are just flat retarded, and I don't think they can protect anybody from anything. They're just learning impaired, not right in the head, and just don't
Well,
give
they won't
a
protect
damn.
from raccoons.
They are there for protection. As
You
in
got
they
your
need
very
They're
own.
there to be protected.
You get your very own night watch from Discworld over there.
So what do the raccoons do?
Oh,
Yeah,
Are
they
y'all-
don't
is
protect
everybody-
Yeah.
Yeah, are y'all?
They
Is
protect the
everybody
garbage
familiar
can.
with Discworld?
the raccoons are demented. I swear they're demonically possessed. They're cute,
Those trash pandas are possessed by Satan.
but yeah, I think they're possessed. They're just they don't care either. They just don't give a damn. I'm screaming at all the time. I mean, it's a game. It's a game to them. So I think I'm going to try a different tactic and not scream and yell and get all upset and give them that thrill. I'm going to get a gun. I'm just going to sit here and just rats little bastards. Be done with it. And hopefully the others will see and learn. So I'm over it. They have torn up so much. I can't
You know what? I
calculate how
wanted
much
to talk
money
about.
they have cost me. Huh? What, Nathan?
I wanted to talk about the mirror. The mirror that we were talking about came up a little while ago, trapping something in a mirror.
Yeah.
I came up later after next show, next solo. I'm gonna go over it since it's Ghost Month, right? I'm gonna go over my first experience that was in El Paso with an actual demonic something. And I'm going to skip it for right now, but it was my first white knuckle scared experience, right? But later I was doing some research, and you can trap something in a mirror, but you have to bind it there. And that in itself
Well,
is
binding's a
kind of
total
on the
different
left-hand
practice.
dark path of things. Right. But
Yeah,
when you
when
bind
you
something
bind
with the
the binding
intention
spell,
of
don't you
capturing it.
get yourself kind of hemmed up in that somewhat too?
Right.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, not bind it to me. Bind it to the item. It's
Yeah,
like
No,
but
a
you
curse.
still are going to
That's
get
why it's
some of
kind
that.
of on the dark side of
If
things.
you're the one doing the spell casting, there's part of you and your energy that's hemmed up in that binding spell.
Yeah.
Right.
Doesn't sound very
I'm not
well
saying it's a good
advised.
thing to do. I'm just saying that I have experience with mirrors, and
Cool. Well, I'd love
it's
to hear
not
about
good,
it.
right? Yeah, next week. That'll be the next
I
one,
took a
the next solo, because I ain't never been that scared. Okay, I ain't never been that until the cemetery, and this was.
yeah, I want to hear about this. I took a class on how to do
It
scrying
took
and how to
days
make
for me
your
to
own
come to
black
terms
mirror.
with.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Now,
Say
have
that,
you done
say that
scrying?
again, Raven.
Have you ever done scrying?
Oh yeah,
With a
scrying
black
is like
mirror?
level 1 stuff. Sorry, not with a black mirror, but you don't need a black mirror. I mean, that came up a certain way with the what did they call that? The mysticism movement of the 1890s, 1900.
Mm-hmm.
spiritualist, the spiritualist
Spiritual.
movement.
Yeah.
The Black
yeah.
Mirror came
Well,
up
you know,
then.
one of the ways
And
that,
that's when it was
that
made
witches
mainstream.
have used to
I don't think she
bind
hears you.
things. Sorry.
What's that?
I don't think she hears you. Nathan hadn't finished.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I was just finished.
Oh, you just finished.
Okay. One of the ways that used to be used for binding things was a bottle. You know, they'd trap some thought it was a soul, others was energy. But I mean, even in recent times, I mean, like in the last few weeks, they've found old witches' bottles in places like chimneys, wells, house foundations.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
Knotted
Right.
ropes.
pardon me?
Knotted
Knotted
ropes.
Yeah, knotted
Uh-huh.
ropes will do it too.
Cool. They
And
didn't open the bottles, did they?
I hope they didn't.
No, not either.
If somebody took the time to tie it up, there was a reason for it.
Mm-hmm.
It does take a certain amount of time, as I recall. I never attempted any working like that myself, but I don't doubt it can be done.
Be
Mm-hmm.
careful there, Fritz.
Did you make it, Fritz?
Leave it there.
Either of you's got-
Whatever it is, leave it there.
Leave it. Don't
Yeah.
monkey with it. Let it where you found it, actually, to put it back. You don't know what the reasoning was for it.
Yeah,
Good
unless you have
idea.
a reason to suspect something. Leave it
I'd
alone.
surround it with a block of cement and drop it off the nearest lake.
Mm-mm.
I
Mm-mm.
don't think I.
It may be a guardian. It may be a ward.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say
it may
No,
be something
a ward.
protecting
A ward
a
is
word
yeah,
is
from
another
something
matter.
else.
yeah. A ward is much less.
I'll be right back, folks. Battery's dying on this device.
Right. Well, maybe that.
Okay.
Okay. Well, well, you look at us, 2:22:22,
Well,
and your battery.
don't go anywhere. Let me come back in.
Literally, 2 hours, 22 minutes, 22 seconds. Oh, well, there it
Wow.
goes. Okay.
That's cool.
See you later, Shadow.
Hello.
We got the battery alarm on my clock. It was saying 2 hours, 22 minutes, 22 seconds.
Cool.
Yeah, it just
I
happens.
don't know all that much about the old workings of things like bottles. I know what knotwork does. You know, so often I would watch one of the family do a crochet or knit and lock up something. So
Mm-hmm.
and it's a soft magic. What it is depends on. Well, I say soft, maybe not so soft, but definitely it's done with an awful lot of meditation and a great deal of thought over it.
Told you I'd be back.
You know,
On the small
one of the
screen.
big things my mom always did was she did a project just nearly perfectly. That was her way. But she always made sure there was at least one mistake in there in order to let the evil out, what she said.
Interesting.
You'll find that in the Navajo blankets too.
Hmm.
I've got a bunch of those.
Just one little spot that isn't perfect. Just enough to let
like
any evil concept go out.
Like a Persian rug.
Hmm.
That was for a different reason, but
Right. But yeah, so ghosts have been with us since recorded history. Look in every account, and it's always been here. They've always been here.
Mm-hmm.
Empirical thought is only a local, or not a local, but a recent thing. Where if it can't be the scientific method, well, there is a limit to all of our science. I just got some weird feedback in my headset.
Yeah.
And
Well,
we don't
some of
know
the
all of
first
science yet.
some of the first references of witches or ghosts are in the gosh, what book is it? Well, in the Bible, one of the kings, I'm thinking it's David,
Nope.
needed which king was it?
Solomon.
Solomon needed advice, and so he had the witch of Endor call up Samuel.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Samuel had been dead for some time and was real irked at being disturbed at his rest. But the Solomon suffered great wrath of God over that. So, there's been talk of ghosts. The Iliad and the Odyssey have it,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mhm.
many of the Greek songs. So, I'd say it probably goes back to the beginning of humanity.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Oh yeah, totally. I think, and I don't know the source for it, but I bet there are cave paintings of spirits. I know there are cave paintings of spirits of things, but I don't know of
There's
any
some in Australia.
quote or sources off the top of my head. Huh?
Probably,
Some in Australia.
yeah, probably funerary paintings. Depicting the soul leaving the body, things
Yeah,
like that.
possibly. But I can't think of a source off the top of my head. But I'm thinking of recorded history, and
Well, the
well, that's
Egyptians,
about as old as we got. Yeah.
they have pictures of it.
Yeah, there's like 5 parts to the soul of
Yep.
the Ba, the Ka,
Mhm.
the what are they? What is it, Ran or Ra? Not Ra. Ra's a god. I can't remember, but there's just like 5.
Well, the steps of the underworld, the rest of it, they were very involved in death.
Mm-hmm.
So that usually, well, and they were involved with life after death quite extensively as well.
Oh, the
So
Book of the Dead is fascinating. I mean, they went to a lot of trouble to write all those spells down and try to make sure that you got from here to where you're needed to go without being deterred or
yeah,
lured off the path.
well, their whole economy was based on their funerary rites and the rest of it.
Yeah, because only the wealthy could afford the Book of the Dead, and had the
Mhm.
spells done in there.
But you look at other cultures too, and the Chinese have their extensive tombs and armies of clay warriors and so on and so
Yeah,
forth.
that's really.
There's a
They have
lot of
pyramids
thought
over there too.
about.
Their
Well, they
pyramids
don't.
are the same.
They're finding more and more pyramids all over the world now,
Yeah,
Yeah.
they are. I love it. Find it fascinating. And
which proves it was worldwide.
I think that Christopher Dunn is right. He wrote a book about the power plants of Giza, I think is the title of it. But that the pyramids powered it, and it was traveled wirelessly from the obelisks, because there's obelisks all over the place too.
It's a possibility.
And
They
Tesla
found
even
some
mentioned that
some
he had studied ancient Egypt when he was doing that Wardcliffe Tower. And Tesla figured it out. It was J.P. Morgan that pulled the plug on it and said, "Hey, I can't make any money off of this. I can't bill anybody. You want to give everybody free energy? The hell you are."
mhm.
You know,
That
sad. And I
they
think of
found
that, and I cuss him every time I get my extension cords tangled up or trip over one. Damn it, pisses me off.
Well, that's better than an alternative.
hey, we could all be sitting here doing this by candlelight. And isn't that absolutely absurd?
And crystal
yeah.
ball.
Yeah, I was gonna say there needs something besides just candles, unless you want to use smoke signals. And at this hour, I'm pretty sure, not even taking into the account the curvature of the Earth, I don't think you would see much. They do the fires
smoke,
of
right?
Gondor. Just do the fires of Gondor, and we have a network of flunkies on mountaintops with bundles of wood. It would take us 6 years to get one show done, but yeah.
Funny.
Maybe if we use 2 channels, we use drumming and smoke signals.
But then we get audio and visual, right?
Right.
Oh boy. I think this
Probably-
crowd's getting
Well, not
punchy.
probably, but I know, Fritz. I'm just trying to be a smart ass.
Mother?
Nathan's even decided there's not enough coffee going on. We haven't seen Edgar tonight. Edgar.
I
and
know. I've kind of
Pancake.
missed my brother, the Pancake.
Yeah. Frank made me promise
Everybody
to take
knows.
him to
Everybody knows
IHOP
Frank Jones
tonight.
is the superior breakfast food.
Frank made me promise to take him to IHOP tonight and feed him.
I thought he liked you.
To IHOP?
Yeah, IHOP's crap. I'd rather eat Eggos.
It's
Hey,
probably
at
the
least
only,
the IHOP in my
it's
neck of the
one of the
woods.
few restaurants in this area that's open. So I think that's why he wants to go there. And it's really difficult to screw up pancakes.
I can tell you stories.
I'll bet.
My family were absolutely atrocious cooks.
I don't know. I like waffles just fine. I can make waffles, but boy, pancakes.
Yeah, you just push the
don't
toaster
turn out.
button down and you're good to go.
Exactly.
Now, French toast, that's an art form.
I like making French toast. Haven't had it in a long time.
Yeah, if I can find a reliable
Anything
recipe.
while I was away?
Yeah,
Sorry?
we turned this show into the cooking show, as per
Yes.
usual.
You left and
Oh,
you left
okay.
us alone, and that's in our defense. We were unsupervised.
Aren't
Like
we always
herding cats.
unsupervised?
That's okay. Food definitely
always
has a place here. I
Yeah,
heard y'all talk about Waffle House,
we're
right?
discussing IHOP and
IHOP.
Oh. Okay. Because
The
y'all know what I did
activity.
at the offering,
didn't
right?
see
I went to
it.
Waffle House.
Now I'm craving a Moons over my hammy. It's killing me, man.
That's Denny's.
That's good.
Yeah, I like Denny's. Like IHOP.
Yeah, I like
I think
going
he's
to
making
Denny's.
wisecracks about my name again.
It absolutely does, Fritz. It's usually my fault or James's fault.
Well, there's a rule. I blame you often.
I'm guilty often.
Cinnamon, sugar, vanilla, decent. I think she means decent eggs. Yeah, that sounds like French
Descend.
toast.
Your eggs will descend from above.
I don't think we
I'm pretty
wanted to
sure
go there, did we?
Yeah,
I don't.
all
I'm
food,
sorry, but
all,
eggs.
we're just messing with you, Diane.
all foods that involve maple syrup are at the top of the food chain. Absolutely.
I agree. I love maple syrup. I had an opportunity when I was a kid to go to a sugaring office, what they're called, and learn how to put the faucets in the trees to gather
Oh, I've
the
always
yeah.
wanted to do
syrup.
that. Always wanted to do that.
Oh my God. You
Yes.
gather those pails. Yeah, you just keep it up over there.
A nerd, yes.
gather
Desert food. Love it. Love it. I live in the
gather
desert.
you gather the pails of the maple water, and it's taken to a huge boiler, and that is boiled down to a syrup, and they at that time it had snowed, and at that time snow was fairly easy, fairly decent to use, and you put the syrup over the snow and eat it. Most
Oh wow.
delicious thing. Wouldn't dare do that these days. Wouldn't
Oh
dare.
God, no.
God knows what the snow is made out of, right?
Well,
Yeah.
I'm not thinking that so much, but the atmosphere is just so wrecked.
Yeah. Chemtrails.
That's kind of what I meant.
Chemtrail snow cones, anyone? Oh, yay. Tasty.
No thanks. I'll tell you one way to have maple syrups over vanilla ice cream. That is good.
Not a fan. Not a fan of maple
You
syrup.
don't like
Really.
that? You don't like maple syrup?
Not really.
Sacrilege. Just sacrilege.
She probably hasn't had. She probably hasn't had
All right,
100% maple
everybody.
syrup.
We're all unsubscribing from Raven's channel.
That's it. I had
I mean,
quite
I'll
enough
eat
of
it on
that.
pancakes, but just a little bit, just a hint of it. I don't want them like swimming in it, and it's just kind of.
Oh,
How do
seems
you
like
live
there's
with
this-
yourself?
are you even
Butter
I
and
like
human?
maple
crepes.
syrup. Breakfast
I
and
prefer
champions.
crepes, and crepes don't require maple syrup.
Well,
Yes,
yes,
they
they
do.
do.
No, they
Yes,
don't.
absolutely. Yes.
Oh my
It's in
God.
the,
No.
Raven, it's in the U.S. Constitution.
I'm with him.
Deport me then.
What do you think of that, Shadow? We agree on something.
Oh, we do that all the time. We just don't make a big thing out of it.
There is just something about that.
Whipped cream's much
it's
better
the-
alternative than the maple syrup.
No,
you
together.
put the
They
whipped
got to go
cream-
together.
You put the whipped cream on top of the maple syrup.
Thick, too sweet.
Don't
Otherwise,
forget
how are
the
you going to get
strawberry.
your daily dose of diabetes?
Seriously, that is a diabetic episode waiting to happen. It came to that kid had a carton of cream that we didn't get to quick enough,
Mm.
and like in the last days of it. So I
The
said,
jury's
well, I
still out,
can't.
Black Dragon. The jury's still out.
Yeah, I can't.
Raven and
Can't
Alien.
use that cream. I can't use that cream
Yes,
fast enough.
I think I am.
Can't use that cream fast enough to excuse me, to use it, So I said, well, the heck with it. I'm making butter. So we made butter out of it. And that is so nice. I haven't had homemade butter in years. And that is just turned out so well.
Hey, has anybody noticed that not only has butter gone down in price, but eggs are now down to back down to like the most ridiculously low price after that egg thing we went through? Where
Yeah, what's that all about?
Well, only
I went to
when you have a batch of peeps, it doesn't really take them that long to pull it. You know? And I
but
say
they're now
that
almost
to grow up. To grow up.
yeah, they're almost cheaper than what they were 2 years ago.
There's more peeps.
I bought what was it? I bought 3 dozen eggs for $4 this morning. They were $20. They were $20 for the same amount of eggs a couple of months ago.
Oh yeah. There for a while, eggs were running $25 for 5 dozen.
That's insane.
And that was cheap at that time here. And now they're at a fairly decent rate. I think they went down to like $7.50 for 5 dozen. But they killed their flocks because of having the bird flu.
Yeah.
And it takes some time to rebuild those flocks. But
yeah, like what, 8 minutes?
Doable. No, not quite. Have you ever raised a chicken? Do you know anything about it?
No, I was gonna do it this year because of the prices, but then I remembered I'm lazy.
Well,
we raise chickens. We used to.
Exactly. Fred, you beat me to it, dang it. You got to have bacon and pancakes and/or waffles, if not both, together.
Well, it takes time to grow a chicken up to lay eggs. It does, and a matter of about a year between the time they're born or time they're hatched until they are seriously producing a large enough egg to be able to use them. Their eggs when they're young are only, I mean, just little bitty. Let me see here, like that.
Right.
They're just little.
Yeah.
And when they've grown up, then of course you start coming into small, medium, and large. And then there's the occasional overachiever who get a jumbo occasion, you know. The best way for those guys to live and to prosper is to turn them loose and let them peck for themselves. Give them bits, you know, leftovers, garbage, because they will turn all of that into the best eggs you ever had.
Yep, they'll eat everything too. You don't want bugs in your yard? Get chickens.
You don't like mosquitoes? Chickens will take care of the problem.
But then they got chicken poop everywhere.
Which is good fertilizer.
Right. Then we would pick up the chicken droppings and we would put it in the garden. It was the best ever. It was a cycle. It was self-contained.
Man, you keep beating me to it, man.
No, nothing is really wasted. I mean, you know, the only animal who really doesn't give anything back is, wait a minute, it's a cat.
A nerd.
No,
with a knife and a fork. With a knife and a fork, a nerd.
Well, I don't know about cats with a knife and a fork, but all right.
No, I was talking about with nerds.
I'll try anything once.
But she was asking, nerd was asking, how do you get rid of the chicken
Good,
infestation?
I
I told
got you laughing about it anyway. There was a time when she would have had my head on a post for this. You know?
eat every last freaking one of them. Chicken's good.
Well,
Yep.
you know, your
We would
chicken's
call
good
all
for
the guy down the road because we would never be able to butcher our own stuff. We just don't have that in us. So we would
I
call the
couldn't
guy down the road. He would come down. He'd take one or two, and the rest would be ours.
yeah. Slaughtering was never a place where I could be.
Me
I
neither.
will freely admit that.
Yeah,
I don't have any shame at all at admitting it. That was never somewhere I wanted to be. It just wasn't my thing.
Oh,
You know?
Yep. And then as
Same.
Fritz says, wrap 'em in strips of chunky bacon. Mmm. Well, it's breakfast. It's almost breakfast time.
Well,
I got a bunch of bananas.
I'm coming for him too.
Yeah, I got some flour. I think we have pancakes.
Well, there's pancakes. We were talking about bread earlier.
Yeah,
I
well,
eat
right now
pizza
for
for
tonight.
breakfast. Pizza or chocolate cake. That's what I eat for breakfast. Coffee.
Just despair, huh?
Raven, it just occurred to me that I'm suspecting you were Marie Antoinette once upon a time.
Let them escape. Oh, fuck. Well,
Well, I have discovered that since I'm not able to tolerate an awful lot of flour, that whey powder works for breading just about anything. So we've done that, and by God, that's better than breading and egging stuff.
mm-hmm.
And some of that, I managed to score some whey powder. You know, the stuff that I'm talking about, the stuff that they use to for energy drinks. You know.
Yeah.
There is a cat tail on you, but no cat. She started already.
Well, one of the cats she owns is the Cheshire Cat.
She got one that disappears in front of your eyes.
Yeah.
I've used that. It's very delicate, but I've used that for pork schnitzel and some of those dishes, and that's been phenomenally good.
See you soon, Nerd's Nerd. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah.
Show up next Saturday with our show. Everybody's wondering where you were.
Yeah. Okay, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up for tonight for the live.
Yeah,
we can hang around, but I'm going to wrap it up. It was a good show. Best show since the last show. We covered local ghosts. We covered local ghosts. We covered personal stories, which is just what I wanted to hear tonight. And next week, I'm going to do it again. It's Ghost Month. Because it is Halloween month. So everybody in the chat, thanks for coming by. Hit like and subscribe if you're here. You're Quantum. And I hope everybody had a good time. We kept a big crowd in the chat room. I tried to get Chad Smith in here, but apparently he didn't check his email or didn't reply. I had to send him an email. That's okay. Another time. If he pops up, I might do a one-shot show. Or he may be here next week. No. So, everybody, thanks for coming by. I'm going to go ahead. It's wrapping up right now. Yeah. When we get to the food and farming part, it's over for the Quantum Show. Though those are good topics. Though they are good topics.
We're scratching the
I'm
bob
going to go
of
ahead
the
and end the
barrel.
live
Okay.
Happy trails, everybody.
because
Bye.
it's all quantum, everybody.
It's all quantum.
So thanks everybody for coming by.
Bye.
Have a great week. If anything comes up, I will be reporting, and I will be taking some night video and putting up on the channel throughout the week. I'm going to put one up here soon. So
See you tomorrow, Justin.
oh, sorry. Everybody, have a good night. Check out the links in the description. Everyone here who has a show has a link, and everyone who has a thing has a link in the description, including Chad. So I'm going to go ahead and start hitting buttons over
like
here so
and
y'all keep it
subscribe.
quantum. Yes, please.
Take care,
All right.
Fritz.
And hitting buttons.
Good night, Fritz.
Hitting
I'm working on
Good
it.
to see y'all.
Pushing buttons. Pushing buttons.